Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, buddy? We're here for another Euphoria Monday, and what an episode. What a sad episode to talk about. But super excited because we have a new guest for the show today. Eliane.
Hello, thank you very much for letting me crash. Knock on your door, break down your door, and join
Oh,
this
Rusa.
episode. I know, yeah, absolutely. Just kick down the door. I was like, I'm in the stream today. Sorry, but I said it more screamingly.
Eliana is my other half over at Girls Gone Canon. She isn't just some person that broke down the door. I'm just putting that out there. She's here for reasons, but Eliana is the best. She's very intuitive and smart and comical. Very comical. Honestly, probably the comic relief friend character in the group. You know what I mean? When you have a friend group, that's Eliana.
Super funny.
Yeah. Keep her around.
Oh, and new here. Chloe.
Hey, thanks for having me, Arah. I've been on many weeks in a row. I feel like we've aged together in the past 5 weeks on this show. We're at least a decade older from all the trauma we've been undergoing together.
Oh, we've trauma bonded.
We have trauma bonded together. This is going to be a crazy week, but our podcast, Girls Gone Canon, look us up. We cover the A Song of Ice and Fire books, point of view chapter by point of view chapter at a time. So all of Ned's chapters, all of John's chapters, all that good stuff. Really fun. We're on everywhere but YouTube, but that's why we come here. We come to Gray and Arah for YouTube. You know, those are the places to go. We love Direwolf City and Preposterous as fuck. So big shout out there and thank you for having us. Oh, and we also do his dark materials, but whatever.
His Dar materials, but
His Dar's materials.
I can never resist it.
It's a good one. It's a fun pun.
And speaking of Preposterous AF, new episode is out today. A really, really good story for you guys if you haven't checked it out yet. She will be joining us later on tonight. She's trying to save Rue. As you can tell, this is our GoFundMe stream for Rue Bennett. We're trying to raise that 10K to get our girl out of out of the situation she's in. And looks like, thank you, John Lang. Always. I love you, John. So awesome. He's a great guy. He's also in the Discord server on Gray's channel. So out if you haven't already. But thanks for the super chat. Fam, I'm stone cold sober and I flushed my Advil after last night's episode. I do not blame. I wish I could say them, but I can't. But I do not. That was guys, just overall thoughts. Let's just get into that right here for last episode.
Well, let's hand it to newbie first. Eliana, what do you think? I know that this episode had to be some crazy shit for you, so what do you think?
It was crazy shit, right? Like, and part of what I really loved about it is it rang really true for me, and it also rang quite true for my partner. Both of us come from families where our direct families have a lot of issues with substance abuse, so that was part of why I asked to come on this episode, because it was something that really resonated. The Rue special from In Between during COVID really struck me, and I think that this was a great follow-up. Like, it's been culminating towards this ever since we were told and we were shown Rue relapsing end of last season.
Completely agree with that. How about you, Chloe? How did you feel?
It was, and I know you and I were talking about this earlier together off camera, but it was a hard episode to swallow. Everyone was going the full 9 yards, right? Like, give them first of all, I know we've said some negative things about Sam Levinson in the past. I'm willing to admit that, sometimes we're hard on him because I know he can do great things. And he did great things, right? Like, he made you uncomfortable. The begging, right? From Rue, from being a monster, from then going to like begging, shriveled, nothing. It was so real. It hurt so much. And it was a really powerful episode. I do think it was just very powerful. When Sam's at his best, he's at his best. He did, that happened. It was powerful.
It was very powerful. I think, especially where from a background of somebody who has to battle addiction, because to be honest, it's an ongoing battle, not something that's just over and done. And people that do live with that, it is very difficult. And I feel this episode, unfortunately, that it takes a TV show to do this, but I feel like it gave and shone a light to be more empathetic for people that struggle with addiction, because we obviously have this attachment to Rue as our character, even though she's like can be really, 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 really hard to root for her. Sometimes it's just we see how much this disease is kicking her ass, and we want her to get better. And I feel like we need to be more understanding of things like that. And I feel like Zendaya knocked it out of the park, like with this episode. Like I couldn't praise her more for her performance this episode.
I do feel like Sam wrote this episode and he was like, so now that I have this written, I'm going to mail it off to the Emmy committee real quick because they're going to want this ahead of time. There's going to be some statues taken off of a shelf and handed over for that one. Somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they're coming in this season, and they've been saying there's been like rumors going around. This episode was supposed to be like the episode that they submit for Zendaya or another Emmy nomination and hopefully another Emmy win. Honestly, I don't see how she couldn't. Just the way she delivered, it was such a compelling performance.
It was so good. I mean, like everything from her micro expressions to just the physicality. It was such like a very physically acted performance. And I mean, honestly, just give her the award now.
Might as well. We might as well.
Just make things easier. I know I saw some people in the chat chatting about her doing a lot of the stunts, and she did do a good amount of the stunts, I heard, but she did have a stunt double for the episode for some of the crazier stuff that probably just isn't in her contract, if she doesn't have to. And I mean, also for safety reasons. I personally, even if they like showed me over a few days, I don't know all about all that, but her stunt double is Britta Grant. She posted on Instagram. I want to say her Instagram is, hold on. I don't know. She posted online and said that like it was just such a powerful, like it was a lot of movement. It was a lot of bracing yourself so you didn't absorb pain in certain ways, and that it was a really crazy episode to be a part of. And I mean, you need kind of those extra parts of the operation to make it full and make those kind of stunts pull it off. I can't imagine doing like one of those jobs, let alone both of them, right? Like acting in this episode, your ass off, and then also running your ass. Like, how did her body not quit? Holy shit.
Top athlete. Sorry, guys. My mouse is like acting super weird. So if you guys see me like with a weird face, it's just I'm trying to fix it. So thanks. But yeah, no, she's probably like the star athlete, like the best professional athlete I've ever seen in my life. Rue Bennett is a track star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just absolutely running.
And withdrawal pain at the same time. Like, girl's a rock star. I don't know how she did it.
Yeah. Probably had to do it over and over again, right? They were probably like, that take was bad. Please run it again. And please jump that again. We didn't get that take right. So, I mean, incredible endurance.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like that first scene, probably the most heartbreaking part. I mean, now we're just going into it because it's one big bottle episode for the most part, right? And it's like almost like the Christmas Carol, where, Rue is visiting all of these ghosts of her past, and each one she's going there, but for illegitimate reasons. She's not trying to grow as a person. She's trying to stem the hurt within her, right? By stealing medicine from their cabinets. And as she goes along that journey, like, and you're following her after she breaks out of the car, and between that begging to be loved and accepted again by her family, but then also that other side of her that's taking over, right? The other wolf inside of her. It's an intense pull and give and pull and give. And even like the moments, not counting when we go to Lexi's, but even the moments before that, Zendaya acting alone has to bring a lot of brevity in some of those moments, like in very small moments of like stumble, fall, fuck, you know, like just like make a funny sound or like look at the camera funny and then keep going on and hold those scenes alone. And I think that takes a hell of a lot of acting.
Oh yeah, like just seeing it on such a minute level, like just even like facial reactions that she makes and things, and just like the range of emotion. Like if we want to start from the top of the episode, kind of like getting into it here, when we see kind of Gia like sitting in her room, seems like she's like kind of just listening to music, tuning out the fight that her and sister are having. And when Rue comes up busting into her, and she's just talking and like, oh, you ratted on me, and like just like her face, like that blind fury, and like the way she switches through like several emotions within like seconds between that and then her mom being like, no, it's pills, not weed. And it's, oh gosh, Zendaya champ. I'm sorry, I just can't get enough of her. I really can't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's part of why I started watching this show in the first place back then. And I like you said, she blew it out of the park. And I mean, the absolute range of emotions that she goes through, even at the very beginning of the episode, where I think a lot of people feel that's where the most performance comes in. But I think it was throughout the whole episode. I mean, yeah, she comes in like an absolute storm. Ironic because the actress for Gia is named Storm.
Oh yeah.
And she's just blowing everything up. And I think right from the start, you see her deflecting everything that's happening, right? Everything, she's just like, this isn't my fault. This isn't my fault.
Yeah. That deflection is strong as fuck. Like every single stop of the journey. And the way that Rue is compartmentalizing her life to lie to certain people in certain ways to be able to pull her addiction off, right, is very much displayed. And the look on her face when Jules says, you know, and she's like, we flushed them. And you hear Jules in the other room, she goes, like the betrayal on her face. Because she already was having her hot mess meltdown right now with them, because it's different the way she can melt down and manipulate them to like believe her again and to give her that faith. And then to know that Jules is in the other room hearing corroboration for all of Rue's behavior the past couple months, like live, like being like, oh, this is what you've been hiding from me.
Yeah.
And painful.
I was gonna say with Rue, the moment like that face when she realizes that Jules is in the room. Well, first of all, I gasped myself. I literally gasped out loud. But when her mom's like, "You're embarrassed, aren't you?" Hell yeah, I'd be embarrassed. Like, obviously, she really loves Jules, even though obviously she's going through withdrawals. This monster in her, it's just making her say like the worst things in the world. However, she still loves Jules at the end of the day. And for her to know that a person she loves, a person she cares about, a person's opinion does matter to her, hurt her that way. Yeah, hell yeah, embarrassed. Like, and you could see it on her face, but that, you know, Jekyll and Hyde kicks in, and then she goes back into rampage mode.
Yeah, and I mean, like what you were saying, right? There's a shame because this is something she's kept in the family. And we know this is not the first time that she's acted like this. We've seen moments of it in season 1, at the beginning of the season, etc., like where she acts like this with her family. She confesses to Ali in that Rue special that she has pulled, you know, shattered glass and threatened her mother before. So to what extent, like, is she just like used to doing this? We see it now because it's been given so much focus in this episode, right? We see it from beginning to end. And I think her running away is part of what made this instance so different. But I think the thing is, like with addicts, sometimes these outbursts are very commonplace.
That is very true. I'll say I have a few people in my family that also have, you know, suffered from substance use addiction and stuff like that. So this episode kind of did bring up like past experiences and that I've dealt with, like with family members have to deal with that. And this was so accurate. Those outbursts where it's like they know what to say to emotionally manipulate you. Like Rue kind of starts with anger, like trying to be aggressive with getting her drugs. Then from that, she goes to crying and try to appeal to their empathy, to manipulate them to get what she wants out of them. And then it just goes like, it kind of like she tries all these different techniques, and then she just to get what she wants, because she's kind of like a slave, if you will. Like she needs this, and she'll do anything and saying the worst things in the world to your mom, like, oh, you're a bad parent and stuff like that. When honestly, Leslie is better than me, because yeah, no, absolutely not in my house. Absolutely not. No. I was just like, no, sweetheart. No.
She's tired, though. Man, she is fighting a battle, and it's so hard because Rue tries to turn back on them the stuff about Dad, right? Which is easy to go. She goes to her hits, right? She knows what's going to pack the worst punch to them to try to hurt them back as much as she's feeling hurt right in the moment. And it's so hard because when she's yelling at her mother, being like, I miss Dad, it's like in my head, like knowing what I know as a farther ahead adult than I would have known at that age. Like that's, you think she doesn't? Oh, I bet all she wants is him there right now to help her, because she's no fucking clue what to do with Rue. Like she's trying, but addiction's a bigger beast than a lot of people are, right? Like it's not easy. It's a disease.
And like to Leslie's credit, right? Like I think it's really pointed that this episode comes right after the previous one, in which we have Cal just walking out the door and being like, I give up, I throw up my hands. When it comes to you, Erin, when it comes to you, Nate, like
yes,
the way that Cal deals yeah, the way that Cal deals with Nate, like versus Leslie, you know, Cal acknowledges that Nate is who he is, and takes fault for it to an extent. He's like, you're my sin. That's not the exact language, I forgot what it was. And Leslie does too, right? But like Cal leaves. He's like, I made you, and oh well, I have to live with that, then walks out the door. Leslie comes back to Rue, is saying, I raised you, and she takes responsibility. She doesn't have to do that at all. And every time, like she goes right back out that door in order to find her daughter, and is relentless in this.
Yeah.
To fast forward a little bit to like the last shot of the episode, Leslie's been waiting up all night for Rue. She's in the same clothes. She's sitting there at the table, like, so.
She drove the city.
She drove the city. She was going to house. Like she's calling like everybody. Like she is not trying to give up on her daughter at all. And unlike like you brought up with Cal gave up. Cal's done. Cal's like, I wash my hands with you, Jake's children, and Fox, Marsha. I'm done, you guys. I'm gonna go live my best life. And we see him give up on his family, and he come back. Don't know. More to be on that. But at least in regards to Leslie, we see she doesn't give up on Rue, even though she has that moment where she does say something really nasty. She really wants to be there and support her daughter.
Absolutely. I mean, we see that throughout everything, right? Like even when they're physical with each other, someone called out in the chat how Leslie does hit Rue, and I think, you know, that sucks. But at the same time, like that's kind of unfortunately what the dynamic has become, and that hasn't necessarily been her choice. We saw Cal and Nate get physical at the end of last season. That came from Cal's prodding, right? From Cal needling Nate's weak spots emotionally. And Leslie, when she and Rue get into that altercation, it's because, I mean, Leslie's confronting her daughter because she's worried about her daughter's addiction, and it's different.
Yeah. Also, she's defending Gia from Rue in that moment, because at first, like, Rue's getting physical with her, then with Gia, And that's when Lizzie's like, oh no, get your hands off of her. And that's when she ends up like hitting Rue. And I'm not gonna lie, Carrie, I kind of wanted one more. One more. Just for the other, she says later on to other people.
What if it knocks something right? Like we said in episode 1 with Fezco and Nate, you never know. Maybe it's just a one and done. We just try it once. That's all. Didn't work.
Yeah. And not only that, but like Rue was banging down that door was terrifying. I could not imagine being on the other side of that door, or Gia or Leslie. Like that is scary as hell. Especially Zendaya person. She's not that big.
Cassie better be happy that she didn't fuck Jules. You know what I'm saying? Because
Zendaya
wouldn't play. Like Maddie's like bang, 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 but Zendaya would have been there already. She would have been in that room. She'd been like, excuse me, but not with Elliot, apparently. But
that
slap is what I liked. I did kind of like the Elliot slap, even though like partially undeserved, but also part of me was like, yeah, kind of deserved, you motherfucker, but also good job.
Good job.
Wrong reasons, but good job.
Yeah.
Your math doesn't add up, but you did get to the correct answer.
She found a way there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with doors this episode that I think calls back to some of the stuff that we see in season 1. And we'll come back to that in a bit. I mean, obviously, right, she's destroying the door. And I think there's just like a lot of narrative weight to that, especially because I think one of the most powerful Zendaya acting scenes in season 1, right, was her banging on the door to have Fez let her in. And so this is part of that. And I mean, you were talking about Gia. There's that physicality of Leslie, you know, sort of putting her body over Gia's, also on the bed, right? Protecting her youngest daughter from her eldest daughter. I think that's heartbreaking in and of itself. But also we see a lot of change in Gia throughout this episode compared to how she used to act with Rue, right? Like she used to defend her Rue and be like, Mom, don't act like that with Rue back then. And now she's just like, I'm fucking done.
Now she wants her life back. She wants her life back.
Gia's at a point now where she's just tired of Rue. She's like, especially when I think what the final straw really hit her is, you told me it was just weed. You didn't tell me you were doing pills again. So it's like she gave you that little inch of trust where it's like, I didn't tell. She literally did not tell her mom. Like your friends did that. Your little drug addict friend snitched on you. Actually, I didn't say anything. I was solid. So for you to put your hands on me and then to mom that way, after hearing how you talk to your girlfriend and your other friend, like Gia's just like, I'm just gonna listen to my music or a podcast, and I'm just gonna vibe out because I am tired and this is just too much right now. She was trying to find a way to just escape. Maybe it was an audiobook. I don't know, but Gia, exactly, Tina V. Gia is done.
Gia was laying on the bed with her earbuds in, listening to the new Preposterous as Fuck episode. And she was like, subscribe.
And then after Girls Gone Canon,
whoa.
She just like, what a day. Because think about how much time she had with those headphones. She was riding around with her mom.
She was in the car all night. That girl was listening to podcasts. Yeah, you're right. She's got superior taste, Gia does. I am disappointed that this wasn't technically her episode in a lot of aspects. Like, I hope... So Eliana and I were discussing this, and you and I have discussed this too, that, you know, we have the formula a little bit of episodes of like who gets an intro and when it happens, how it happens. We started off front of the season, first season, getting a bunch of intros. And then at the end of the season, as the hype kind of built up, you didn't get as many intros and it was spaced. We know kind of Lexi's episode is 7, right? That seems to be the penultimate play episode before episode 8. And it's probably unlikely we'll get a finale intro episode. So we're sitting at episode 5. So we have 6. And then we have maybe a Lexi intro or maybe someone else's intro during a Lexi episode. 6 could be someone. 6 could be someone. Maybe it could be Cal again. I'm just kidding.
I hope
making
not.
a joke. We wasted that time. We could have had some other intros is all I'm saying. I appreciated Cal for what it was, but we could have had a Gia intro. This
could have been a Gia intro. This would have very easily been it because it was only 54 minutes.
Could have
Last
added 2
episode
more of
too.
her school,
We
right?
could
And
have added
her living. Or next episode could be Gia.
that too. I felt like this episode felt like an unofficial Gia episode just because we had baby Gia in the hospital, but it's all from Rue's perspective.
Yeah.
But we do have moments with Gia, like when they're in the car. So after the that big fight that happens, when they're in the car, when Rue's kind of like it cuts in and out, and it seems like it's like you're following Gia's perception of their argument. When Rue's like, oh, you know, the 5% chance of me surviving and the I wanted to lay in the beach and stuff like that. That moment, it kind of cuts in and out of whatever Rue's saying. Sometimes you get like some audio of what's happening outside. Sometimes it just sounds like muffled in a way. So it feels like the unofficial Gia episode in that regard to me. Other than that,
Yeah.
give me the Gia episode, Sam. Jeez, please. Fez, I want Gia. Too much to ask.
I think this episode was good the way that it was, right? I wouldn't want it told from Gia's perspective. I think we get a lot of, we have had a lot of media over the years that does tackle substance abuse from, of course, the perspective of the addict, right? You've had like Train Spotting. A lot of people have pulled up and discussed Requiem for a Dream and so forth in the context of this episode. But I do think that this is a slightly different perspective that we didn't see as often. And I think that this episode very much has to be, to an extent, from Jules' perspective. And as you all probably know, like, you don't have Jules' narration over it compared to previous episodes. And I think part of it is because this episode is in many ways something that Sam was probably building towards. This is, I think, very much a very thesis statement. You can tell that he probably put a lot of his own like heart into this. And I think if Gia gets an episode, I would want that to be given its own space and a different episode.
Yeah. It was like having, I mean, Rue is kind of his muse, right? Of like, when, again, the reason he does this so well is because he's been there, like you said, Eliana, and that's like why this episode is his baby. He put so much hurt into this episode that so many people are able to grasp something from it and recontextualize it into their life depending on how they also have experienced it. And yeah, if I would hope Gia would get her own telling of it, right? I love the idea of it being Jules having that POV in the beginning, and that Rue yelling in Jules' face like that. And I actually saw a tweet that summarized it best. Like, if you were mad at Jules about what Jules has done to Rue, that's one thing. That's on you and God, and that's one thing, first of all. Okay?
Yeah.
We've done bad things, and that's on you. But last night, there was nothing you should be mad at Jules for, because, like,
absolutely not.
That's the bravest thing Jules could have done in the face of everything she's had in her life and like what she's lost in her mother and like just how her life had to adapt. That was brave.
I actually want to bring up a good point here, because no one else had an opportunity to do something like this and they didn't do it. Lexi did not do that. And Lexi, we got that in that little brief perspective when she's like, oh, I'm going to tell your mom. And she's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. And then Lexi's like, okay. But Jules, like having that, as soon as Elliot told her, it seems like this is like the very next day that she said something about it. And even like the way Jules looked, like it was like a no makeup look. But nonetheless, like there was no makeup there. She's there, like, like a oversized sweater. Her hair is pulled back in a very chill way. Like, this is probably the most like cozy we've ever seen Jules. Jules normally has something a little funky going on in the way she's dressed. This is the coziest we've ever seen her. And you could tell it's because it doesn't take a lot of effort to throw on a gray hoodie, throw your hair in a half up, half down, walk out the house. Because this is, I feel like, something that kept her up all night. Like there she should do it or not.
Yeah. But, and I mean, is she wearing Elliot's clothes, right? Like, that's how immediate it was.
It could be Elliot's sweater.
If it's not Elliot's sweater, I think that's at least Elliot's pants. Like,
they're the same size. Okay, they are the same size.
Probably. And like, yeah, I mean, as you said, right, this is a brave, difficult thing. She's risking her friendship. And I mean, she was helpless when it came to her mother, but here she sees that she can do something, so she did.
She was willing to
Yeah.
sacrifice like her greatest thing, you know, like this is the thing I love, but if it's falsely making me happy, then is it really love? Like, is that true then? And like, if she doesn't live, then I won't be happy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was very brave of Jules. That was, Jules can be immature, you know, sometimes, and she can make choices that can seem immature because she's fucking 16, 17 years old. Because none of us were saints then, and some of us aren't saints now. I say, not speaking for myself, but I'm a saint. Girls Gone canonize me. Yeah. That was so hard though. That was when she tried to isolate Jules and make Jules feel like it was her fault and tell her, I don't love you. And Jules bravely looked her in the face and said, it's not true. She said, I love you. That was.
I wanted to bring this up to what Kiri brought up earlier. Y'all said Jules loves to be loved last week, and they said it in this episode, Mine's Chef Kiss.
Who doesn't?
I also, if you guys haven't watched it yet, as a big thank you for hitting 1,000 subscribers, I did a nice little special Euphoria video where my two best friends, we guessed the Zodiac signs for different characters in Euphoria. And I actually, again, that was recorded before that just aired. I said that same quote when I picked out what sign. Well, we all actually ended up picking the same sign for Jules. So that
okay,
was
wait. Okay. I haven't listened to it yet. I did retweet it today, but I haven't listened. So at the count of 3, are we all going to say what we think? Is that...
Oh, okay, we can do that. Let's do that.
For Jules?
Yeah.
For Jules.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right, ready?
3, 2, 1. Pisces.
Aquarius. Okay, I don't know anything.
No, Aquarius is good.
Also,
I like.
She could be like me. She could be Pisces with an aqua rising.
I definitely think Pisces because she feels. I have a Pisces moon. I'm very emotional and I'm very fragile all the time. So it's good. Everything hurts. But I see the Pisces because Jules is a bleeding heart. She is just she absorbs so much love from those around her and so much pain also from those around her because she also has experienced that and has the great capacity for that. So like all this hate in the last few weeks on Jules, I don't know. They both are doing some dumb bitch shit, you know, because you're a dumb bitch when you're 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just reminds me of dumbass young Arah at 16, 17, unfortunately. Not to some extent. Some things I'm like, okay, maybe not Jules, but a lot of the dumb does I totally could relate to personally. But with her to deal and feel that pressure of trying to help maintain somebody's sobriety.
Yes.
Because if we saw, like, if you watch the Jules special, I bring this up all the time when I talk their relationship. Jules feels that Rue's sobriety is totally dependent on her availability to her. A 17-year-old child should not have to feel that type of pressure. However, she cares enough about Rue. She loves Rue enough that she takes a stand in Rue's best interest and betray Rue's trust. Even though Rue doesn't know that she knows at this point, even though you walked into a doorway. Rue, come on, man. Like, you're bugging. You are absolutely bugging out right now. Like, it was very obvious. You're looking disheveled. Like, you
just a little weak. Just a little.
I don't think I've done that.
No,
and if you haven't, then I'm like, no one has. No one has. No one has. That's some like Lyrica, some hydrocodone. That's like some girl, you know, that's opiates and shit. Like, you know, you're doing painkillers. I was put on a lot of painkillers in my preteen and teen years just for like, I was diagnosed with a bunch of stupid bullshit. And like, I was put on a lot of painkillers, and I remember a lot of days I don't remember, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Where you're like, oops, I accidentally took a half or maybe a full pill too much, and maybe it was a half pill that was snorted. Like, maybe that was a thing that happened. I half remember that. It erases whole chunks of your life. It does. Like, and that's just like the bare minimum, not the stuff she was actually continuing to do.
Yeah, it's like what Laurie brings up later in the episode, and that, oh god, that scene's so heavy. But we'll get there, guys. We'll get to that a little bit. I was like, there's some fun stuff I want to get before we get there. But actually, I kind of want to get there. So, oh no, where'd Chloe go?
Oh no, Chloe.
Oh, I know Chloe's about this. So before we talk about, oh, there she is. She's back. Chloe's back.
I hit a button. I'm so sorry.
You walked into the doorway.
You walked just through the door.
Oh my god.
It's just a little weed, you guys.
But so I kind of want to get there. So Rue gets in this fight with her mom. Jules sees it, says nasty things to Jules. Rue decides to agree to her mom with going to the ER, which I'm assuming the reason why she's okay with the ER and not rehab is because ER, she will probably get some type of relief for her withdrawal symptoms in the least bit. Or she can try to convince them that she's in some pain and actually get the drug she's looking for. Which I think is why she kind of agrees to that at first. Or because she feels like an asshole to what she said to Jules. So I'm torn.
I think it might be a mix of all of those. And there's something that she says, I want to say it's also first season, where she's talking about how she loves hospitals. She's like, hospitals are awesome. They give you a bunch of food. Yeah, they give you a bunch of food. There's people always there. Everyone's taking care of your needs. And like, so I think there's a part of her that also associates hospitals with like this happy place. And I also wondered to what extent, and she doesn't really dig into this, because wouldn't hospitals to some extent have like a negative connotation for her in regards to her father? You know, being in hospitals so often and in hospital beds. But I almost wonder if she also sees it as a safe place because, you know, her father would have been getting care there, right? And I don't think he died in a hospital room, if I'm not mistaken. He died in their own home. So
yes.
One, do you have my HBO account?
What? No, I have my HBO account. And then to prepare for today, I did I just watch the entire first season all over again? Maybe.
I respect the fuck out of you for that. I only say that because this evening, when I went to go rewatch my episode, it started at series 1, episode 8 of Euphoria. So that's why, because I saw that same intro this evening. So I was just like, wait a second, are you on my HBO? That's cool if you are. I didn't know who was.
No, I have to support like an entire like family of other people, like my kind of semi in-laws for HBO. So
same, but you want anything, you know, just
I'm the Disney Hulu Plus package family member.
Yes.
Yup. My husband's the Hulu. I'm the Netflix HBO, but my HBO is under my mom's credentials to make her feel good about herself. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta slip your as proof in this episode, you gotta be nice to your mom once in a while. Just once in a while.
Yes.
Rue didn't perform any of those. Didn't perform a single one of those. No. So yeah, that was the scene later on with the funeral, you know, the wake stuff happening in the house and her actually seeing her speak about her dad and the response to the last episode, the I loved you before you were even born, right? Until you die. Well, this episode when she's saying goodbye to her father and I loved you when I was born, when I was 6. The whole show is a love letter to losing her father. Right, it's a horrible, sad love letter. Her whole addiction.
Actually, I was gonna get there because Rue always like tries to say like, no, people just try to make it seem like it's so easy, like it was just my dad, and it's like, Rue, I hate to tell you that might actually just be that might be it, because you wouldn't have had access to these drugs at first if it wasn't for your dad having access to drugs as he was battling his sickness and you obviously trying to cope with the emotional weight of him battling his sickness and then the eventual loss, and that's when things progressively got worse. This might be a big root cause of a lot of your issues.
Rue
Elliot,
cause.
it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's like a mix of things, right? Like some of it is, as you said, it's associated with Rue's father, and I think part of it is like every time we see her go into one of like those really intense highs, like we get moments with her father, right? It's almost like she gets high as a way to commune with him.
Yes.
But like obviously other parts of it are deeper than that, right? Like as Ollie points out, and as is pointed out by like the very first episode of the first season, like some of his, she was fucked before she began, right? Like I mean, some of the wires were just crossed. People are made differently. Their brains are a little different, and unfortunately hers was just predisposed to being more susceptible to substance abuse and addiction.
Yeah. That and the introduction of drugs via just having disordered thinking, right? Like,
yeah,
that whether it's OCD, whether she's bipolar and it hasn't been fully addressed or diagnosed, whether there's an imbalance and like that's not been addressed nor treated properly. And when she was young, they immediately said, put her on pills. It started before her dad died. I think that's something that like is really significant about it all, that like the American system, hi baby boy, the American system is so bad and it treats our people so bad. Oh, babies.
It does. Sorry, guys. Axel, regularly scheduled Axel cameo.
Hello.
We're blessed. We're very blessed.
Yes.
He's doing sleepy.
We need our system to be better for Axel and all of our baby Axels out there is all.
Exactly. Especially our baby Rue. Our baby Rue's going through it. So we're in the car with them, and this girl Rue decides to play for her.
We got a runner.
We got a runner. But oh my gosh, her get out middle of traffic. I had so much anxiety watching that scene. Like it was just so. And I saw some of the behind the scenes of how they filmed it. It's so good. Like, say, like, girl, you did again. I can't.
The explosion, the car that actually crashes, right?
Oh yeah,
because of her.
Yeah.
Well, and so there's like this whole entire montage. It's so crazy because tonally it shifts so much. It starts off as like a crazy escape scene, and then it becomes a heist when she's in the people's house, right? There's Eliana was talking about doors earlier. One of my favorite things about this episode on the rewatch was that when she slides under the garage door just in time and the song starts playing, the Wonderful Labs song starts playing. At the end of the episode, when she finally escapes Laurie's, the door is closing as she darts through it, just like when she had originally gone in to steal all this shit and rob the people's house. So like it was just like the first time was fun. You had the fun Labyrinth song in the background, like, yeah, here we go. We're doing some shit. We're going to go do some shit. And then the end is like, oh, some shit is bad. Shit is real bad. We don't want to do shit anymore. Holy shit, we don't want to do shit anymore. The tone
stuff is scary.
And the puke. We've had 2 puke-episodes.
Oh,
that's right.
So much this season, so much vomit. But before we even get into the robbery, the first stop that Rue goes to make is to Fez.
Fez ain't home.
Fez isn't home. So we get that favorite part of the episode. Rue's arrived Howard household. And also I just want to throw out there, Lexi is so fake. We're just like, oh, girl, you knew the whole time. But just like,
but she wasn't about to say it. It's inappropriate to say it, Arah.
Oh, it is. She was like, "This is my place," just like she didn't Rue's mom, because she just is just the observer, minus her burn book play. She's just the observer. So we get Rue. She goes to Lexi's house, and I thought this like little banter was kind of cute, and I feel like it was kind of a nod to obviously, I think, no mystery here. Hopefully we don't talk about long enough that I get like some weird little seed sign somewhere in this video. But where Rue's like, oh, I have a cold. When they're like, oh, you kind of look like shit. And she's like, oh, I have a cold. She's like, oh, but you can't get sick. And then Susan's like, well, I have a compromised immune system, so please don't get me sick. I'm like, if that's all you're going to do for touching up on this, fine with me. Don't need any more of it.
I love that, how fake she was, that she was like, oh, well, it's so good to see you, Rue, sweetie. And she walks away and she's like, she looks like fucking shit. Shit ain't right.
Like,
but what else are you supposed to say? And like, obviously, I'm curious if, honestly, if Lexi hadn't popped a quick text over to the Bennett household and been like, yo, come get your girl.
I think she did, like, after her mom was like, yeah, she's not looking good.
There was a look between them, is why I say that. Like, otherwise I wouldn't think so. But there was almost like a look.
Her mom probably already said something to them. Because think about it. Her, like, if I were Leslie, my thoughts would be, all right, let me message Rue's friends. Obviously, Jules is not going to be the person to run to. Lexi being the next logical person. Like, oh, if you see Rue, just know. So I think that kind of like between Suze, especially where Suze starts like talking to her about like rehab and like, oh, like AA, are you an NA? Like it's kind of like she was buying time.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Suze knew or not. I think Gia could have possibly texted Lexi. I mean, we've seen them interact before, and it seems like it was Lexi who reached out because it closes in. Oh no. It closes in on Lexi's face during those interactions. Like, for example, I don't know if Suze like really like picked up on it right away when she was like, oh, how long have you been clean, Rue? And Rue's like, oh, since summertime. And Lexi's like, I know that's not true, right? We close in on Lexi's face as soon as Rue says that answer, because Lexi's like, I peed for this girl. So I think, I mean, maybe Lexi was finding like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I enabling this?
Exactly. And like she's seen Rue, and then Rue even said like, oh, I just smoked a little weed to Lexi. So it's like, and she was with the door. The whole door thing was with Lexi. Like, all right, girl. Okay. I just
But the best part was the brevity it brought us in the episode, right? Because I just want to break down Maddie Perez's outfit. If you look at her outfit in the episode, she is wearing a short little cap sleeve shirt that is a knit, almost chainmail, right? It is a chainmail knit kind of top. If you look at it, it's like almost scaled, like scale mail. Oh, Maddie was ready for the battle. She was wearing her chainmail top, is all I'm saying. But I loved it because it was actually, she was wearing Cassie's color, right? She was wearing baby blue. So Maddie was kind of dressed a little softer in that baby blue for the ultimate betrayal to come out. And oh, Cassie girlfriend, when Cassie just like looked up and laughed, she's like, oh, what?
Can I just say, when she's like, when Rue's like, oh, mom, I'm not going to be clean forever and blah, blah, blah. Cassie did really give her good advice, when she's like, just take it one day at a time. And Rue was like, bitch, I know you're not talking right now. And when she just, like Tina said, she asks Cassie the question, my jaw just dropped. I was just like, yeah.
Same. That like that.
Yeah.
That cry in the background.
That is Cassie.
Yes.
You're wondering where Cassie is right now. She's Axel.
Yeah. I mean, like, I agree. When she gave that advice, I was like, yeah. That's like, it's not the best, but it's pretty good. The sentiment is appreciated. I like how she automatically jumped to denying, because like season 1 Cassie was like, I think I should tell McKay the truth, and Maddie's like, no, if that comes out, you deny in regards to Daniel. I'm like, okay, so Cassie took that lesson. She just denied the whole time.
Damn, I forgot about Daniel.
I watched the entire first season today.
I can hear it in everything you're saying.
It's been a trip.
You're very brave because that's a lot of trauma in one day. And I could only take so much for the rest of my life. Like, I have to take all the past and, like, I have to very carefully distribute it over the next, like, how old am I? Maybe 30, 40 years that I'm alive, you know? I'm not planning long. I'm just planning good. You know?
We're just doing it. I'm sprinting. You know.
Honestly, rewatching this episode a few times ready for this, I was just like over it emotionally. Like, this is really hard to pour a glass of wine because it's like, ugh.
I turned it down. I turned the volume down on it. Like, when I rewatched it, I was like, we got to go to 20% and we just got to very carefully hear it and maybe read the captions because it's a
heavy watch. But this scene made it all worth it, and just the way, like, I hated the way that Cassie was just like, oh, she's just an addict. Like, why are you listening to her? Like, no. That's what we're not gonna do, sweetheart. We're not doing that today. It wasn't just, you were just like, oh, hey, Ruru, and now you'll take it one day at a time. And now that, you know, she aired your shit out, you wanna act brand new. I didn't like that, Cassie. You're making it really hard for us to try to defend you, and I don't know. I can't do it. After that really hurt me, Cass.
She could change.
Yeah, I mean,
I think she'll change. She's not going to change. She's going to do stupider shit. She's going to be our bimbo hero for the rest of our lives.
She's changing like a few years with therapy, you know, which
Maybe.
clearly she's not in right now, probably.
That girl needs to be.
I mean, they all need to be, but
I mean, I need to be, but
yeah,
that girl.
But I mean, as you and I were discussing this at another point, like, what Cassie said is fucked up, but at the same time, like, I mean, she's to one extent mirroring what Rue is doing, right? The deflect strategy of manipulation of like, oh, it's not me. And also, I mean, Cassie and Lexi don't have a great relationship, right? When it comes to addicts, like their mother clearly struggles with alcohol abuse, and then Cassie's the one who had to encounter her father approaching her in the garage, right? And he
stealing
clearly
shit.
Yeah, he's doing what Rue was doing later this episode, right? He is clearly like also, it's the same thing. Like, they talk about how he ended up becoming addicted to fentanyl and stuff like that because that's what he was given in the hospital. So
same as her.
And then with actually, speaking of stealing, is Rue, when she goes to try to use his bathroom, goes and swipes a pair of earrings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, like I mentioned, I have family members that have unfortunately struggled, and I had a family member steal stuff from like my parents before, like jewelry. And it's hard to deal with because you're just like obviously it's a material item at the end of the day, but then there's the principle behind it, as you know, Fez gets to later. Sometimes it really is just the principle. It's like, how do I deal with this? And it goes to show you that disease will bring out the worst parts of somebody. Like Rue stealing from one of her best friend's mothers. Like, even though she was going there looking for pills, hoping Suze had something, because let's be honest, if somebody had some, Suze might have had a Xanax lying around or something. Who knows? But she didn't today. But she did have some earrings that Rue grabbed.
It's interesting to watch Rue have an actual motive besides survival in this episode, right? Because all you can think of is like, girl, are you going to make it? You're puking on a corner. So like, as she leaves the Howard household and she moves on to go rob that house, right? Before she tries to, hit up Fez again. So she goes to rob that house, and there's something interesting about like all the places that she crashes through in that time afterwards, that like there's like a class aspect almost, that like she's crashing all these very nice parties with nice pools in the backyard. The people's house she goes to next has a tennis court in the backyard. They're not hurting, but as she gets there and they leave, they're fighting when they come back, right? Like these people they had a bad time. They came home early and they had a horrible time together. So like there's all this stuff in between of like, money can't buy you happiness. It can buy you drugs, but drugs also can't really give you happiness, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing can give you happiness is actually the message I was getting, right, from Life and the episode, but like Life especially. But like that whole entire thing, like she was crashing through tables at people getting married and like backyard parties and people having good, strong social connections, things she'll probably not have again.
Yeah. Oh no, because who's gonna want to talk to her after this? And then I'm assuming that Cassie, that drop on the stairs, so how long have you been messing with Nate Jacobs is dead and written as an additional scene in the play.
Oh, I bet. Oh, a quick edit.
Quick edit. She was waiting for the climax of the play and she finally got it. It got really inspired. She did a rewrite.
Yeah, there's this Reddit comment from someone called Ali Seal, and we were talking about giving Zendaya Emmys before, but Ali Seal says Lexi's play better get a damn Tony Award for the amount of material she got this at.
Fucking EGOT.
Agreed. She's coming for it. But
I do want to. Oh, sorry.
No, what were you gonna say? Actually,
I was just gonna say that in the robbery scene, I also want to give a shout out to Harold, the scene stealer. The dog. Yes, the dog. It was all about
dogs had a big effect all episode. There was a dog at almost every place she went. By the time she gets to the third place, there's the little baby dogs going.
The little Pomeranians.
Yeah,
they're the most like effective guard dogs, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, actually,
because that dog, he was just sitting there like, okay, I'll just sit over here. Like he was a cutie pie, but. Actually, I think that Fever was playing while she was doing this break-in.
Yes, I love
the song
that.
Fever. And it's like, the song itself kind of is about like seduction and stuff like that, and how she obviously seduced by her addiction. She goes out of like, all right, I'm gonna break in and do a breaking and entering. Which is insane because it's kind of like the first we've seen of Rue do something like that. Like they probably could have used her last week when they were robbing the little like liquor store for the White Claws. Rue wouldn't have got caught. She's so fast, she would never have been caught.
She's small and she's fast.
Yeah.
Even when she's like dying injured.
Yeah. Like I was impressed she got out of that house.
That was impressive. Okay.
When she was like, get the gun. It reminded me of you ever watch Superbad?
Yes.
Probably I also reference that a little bit later too. But she's like, Mark, hide your gun. And that's what it sounded like to me. When the cops get called on the house party and stuff like that. It's such a random I'm just here for random lines in movies, guys. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, that was what that kind of gave me. And the fact that Rue made it out that house while getting a bit by a shot.
I mean, like, Harold's not going to bite her. Harold is a friend. Harold's
snuggle bug. He just wants to cuddle.
I mean, he just wanted to say it.
Yeah. Just wants to hang.
You know who was a friend? He was a friend. Maybe no longer. It's probably Fezco.
The next stop after the robbery.
After, there's a tumble on the way. She gets there.
Well, there's some tumbles, but she makes it to Fez's house, and it's just like, baby girl. I was gonna say, in regards to like the chase scene, the one thing I did want to throw out, because there's a lot. She obviously, like, we kind of touched on it, like she tumbles through the different houses. There's a guy painting, and he has chickens in his backyard, and he's disco music, and he's such a vibe.
Yes,
he's such a vibe to me.
He's aspirational.
That's the type of level of peace that I want to achieve one day in my life. Yes. Have a bunch of chickens and paint while listening to classical music.
Chickens seem difficult. I mean, like, I don't know. There are some people who really enjoy it, but I don't know if that could be me. But I want that for you. And maybe you can share some chickens
probably
and
not
eggs.
chickens. Yeah, not chickens.
Okay.
Just just maybe some type of animal. That just seems nice.
Gotcha.
Seems really relaxed. We get that she ends up obviously puking and running away. I'm like, and then she hides in the trash. And then from the Oscar the Grouch, she ends up at Fez's house.
I said
God.
that. I said that when we
That's
were
brilliant.
watching it. I looked at my husband. I was like, "Oh, so now she's Oscar the Grouch." I'm so glad that we had the same. You were there. You were there in spirit.
Yes.
Spiritually, we were sad together.
We were. She was Oscar the Grouch, and she goes to be grouchy at Fez's house. Just made me even sadder. Like,
she knew better, and she damn went looking.
and Fez was still so sweet to her because he's like, "Oh, I don't have anything right now," and I don't think he would have given her anything if he did have it. Honestly, he's kind of tired of her at this with that shit. But when she's like, "Oh, Fez, I gotta take a poop," he's like, "Do you want some Pepto Bismol?" I'm like, you're so sweet and kind. Like, of course she wants some Pepto Biz. But I don't know. How'd you guys feel about that before shit goes south and she takes Kitty's stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I was impressed that, we were talking about Rue's body strength and how Zendaya is not very big. How she's able to like just shove Fez. That was impressive.
She had a little crazy deep within her right there that came out. She just let that beast out for a hot second.
Yeah, she did. She went like Hulk on him. And the fact that she's like, oh, she won't miss any. It's only could be like a 3 or 4. Oh, actually, before I forget, takesy backsies. He definitely didn't have any in the house because he did say, I remembered because I wrote it in my notes.
Yep.
Fez says, I don't keep anything in my house anymore.
Not after getting raided, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Not after getting raided, and not only that, but after finding out that Mouse's baby was sniffing around.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta be clean as fucking shit.
He comes in, which I feel like somebody still might be using it on Fez. That's law enforcement related, but for now, that's a smart, very, very smart move, Fez. But I felt so bad for him having to kick out Rue.
Yeah.
That's his family.
He did it in a very like sympathetic way, like as gentle as one could be in that situation.
Yeah, I agree with Casey here. That push to Fez broke my heart. I was half expecting Ashtray to pop up with the hammer, though. No, seriously. She's lucky that Ashtray like knows her well enough to know like she's not that much of a threat.
But he did. I mean, when she left, right when Fez was taking her out, that was Fez's kill for once, right? And this was a different kill. Like Ashtray, hitting Cal in the head with a hammer was the same for Fez as having to tank Rue out, like to the front.
Exactly.
And that's the same kind of action for him. For Fez, that's really a big thing.
Yeah, Max L agrees. She's just lucky the little guy didn't jump off the couch. She's absolutely lucky the little guy did not jump off the couch. And the look on his actually as she's being carried out, he looks kind of happy. I've been thinking about this a little bit more and more with Ashtray. Obviously, like we know he doesn't like Faye. No parts of Faye. He's never really been a fan of Rue. But when we think about it, he got abandoned by his parents that were addicts. Like they were so controlled by this disease. Like let's look at what Rue's future. Like some person traded this baby for a fix, and now look at him. He's got a tear tattoo, and he's caught a couple bodies already. And he's like, what, 13, 14, bro? Like, I could see where that resentment of why he doesn't like being around addict, because he probably just sees whatever version of his parents that he doesn't know in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Rue has been a little bit of a leech off them. He knows what he sees. The first interaction we got with them is him being like, where's the money for this? And her going, Fez has me. And him going, Fez never has anyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
facts. Yeah.
I mean, he knows who Rue is. Faye said it in the wrong terms in the back of that car, right? Like, you're just a junkie eating out that ginger's ass, which that's not true. That part's not true, and that's mean to say because Fez is respectable.
I wish it was,
Arah's over here like, I'd watch it.
I'd watch it.
If it was available, I would download it, Arah says.
I mean,
I wouldn't not watch it. Yeah, that was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, ladies, is what I'm saying. Besides the ass eating, it was heartbreaking.
It really was. It was so hard to watch, and it kind of echoed back to the scene you brought up earlier, Eliana, when like she's banging on the door asking him for drugs. It's like very similar situation. This isn't their first rodeo. When it comes to this.
And a lot of her blow up earlier this episode, right, is the same energy that she brought like when she was attacking Fez through that door in the first season, right? She's saying all the worst things that she can say to him about who he is in order to get whatever she wants. And we just saw a larger display of that at the beginning of this episode. And, you know, Fez, like the other folks, he kind of let it roll off him because he's like, I mean, she doesn't really know what she's saying. She does and she doesn't, right? Like, that's the difficulty.
Yeah. It's like, how serious do you like, well, yeah, seriously, like, how much should she be like accountable for what she's doing?
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like where Fez and like Jules, as we talked about earlier, they're actually, even now that I think about it, like obviously Fez is a drug dealer. Jules, her mother was an addict. Lexi and Cassie, their parents are both addicts. So it's not something unfamiliar to a lot of the people that like she encounters throughout the episode, and just looking at how to deal with it. And it seems like they're all kind of like, we know this isn't the real you talking to some extent, except obviously when Cassie just got thrown under the bus. So she tried to, but it didn't work. But it's sad in Euphoria, though.
It's a gray area.
It is a gray area.
I mean, like it is her and it isn't her, right? Like, I mean, like Ali says, drugs change who you are as a person.
Yeah, they do.
And so does Laurie.
Yes,
Laurie tells us that
that's
too.
So, oh my god! Like when we get there, oh my god,
we're almost there because that's next. That's literally.
I was gonna say we're here. We're here. Let's get into Laurie
let's do
and Ray and this. Oh god, this scene. She is the most terrifying person on the show by far to me. She scares the crap out of me, and she also, for some reason, gives me major Lisa Frank vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I feel like she probably has like a Lisa Frank like trapper keeper somewhere.
Like a literal trap in her home? Oh, okay.
Like the binders, like the binder trap.
Oh, I was just joking because of all the padlocks. Oh no, we had the same things. I think we just called them binders in my region. Yes. You know, dialects.
Yeah, I was being old, a sag trapper keeper, but you guys know what I meant. Binder, same shit. But
I think I'm older than you.
Babes, but we're all 21 here, right, Chloe?
What's that? Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Thank you. Have some fucking respect. Holy shit. Holy shit. What am I?
21.
Like, what am I to you? Am I a joke to you?
You're dead to me.
Look,
dead to me.
I have a confession. Last week, I went too easy on who Laurie was as a character, and I was wrong this week. That was really hard for me to say, and you will never hear me say those words again, probably not on this podcast, in a row. You heard the order they were in. You heard what they were. I'm not saying them again. Eliana knows what they were. I'm not going to say them again. You heard them. I said things that maybe were not the truth. So...
You're not clairvoyant. I don't expect you to know.
I'm not clairvoyant, maybe.
Oh.
Laurie's a straight up motherfucking crazy psychopath, sociopath motherfucker. Like, does not care. Will strip your skin from your body and sell it on any market that will take it, black, white, you know, wherever you find this market, it's going to be there and you're going to be sold on it. And that was clear. I think we could say that was clear. She isolated her to be able to emotionally manipulate her better. I mean, she came to her willing, right? Like, here I am, please bleed me out on an altar. And Laurie wanted to, and she tried to. And the one saving grace of that scene is that Rue told her she was doing 40 mils. Rue is doing far more than that in drugs every day.
Oh yeah.
That saved her life, because otherwise she wouldn't have woken up. She would have been out doing things that she doesn't want to do. Yeah, things would have been bad. The 40 mils saved her ass.
Because if it was a higher dosage, she would have just not woken up at that time at all.
Could have gone anywhere. We wouldn't know.
I didn't catch that
scene when she like first walks in and she's like, here's the cash and some jewelry. Let's make magic. I know it's not the whole amount, but figure it out. I'll get the rest later. And Laurie's like, no, you won't. You don't look like the type. Like, Laurie's sense of judgment, you kind of feel like just because she drops a thing where she's like, a little later in the scene about when I met you, I knew you'd be in my life for a while. I think she had her eyes on that girl to pimp her out. Easy mark the moment she laid eyes on her.
Yeah.
Like that's why she let her get into like debt with her, because she's like, all right,
yes,
sure, you can get into debt with me, but you're gonna have to pay it back off.
It was not, in fact, an amazing plan. It was an amazing plan for Laurie, but not for Rue.
Yes.
Turns out Rue was not a genius.
I think she was saying that to like even make Rue feel a little bit more comfortable with her.
Yeah. It was manipulation for sure. She, like, the things she said when she put Rue in the bath and she was like, I'm so sorry, Rue. It was so disgusting. It was so gross. And, you know, like, Kiri just brought up a great point in the chat, like, that she was like, this isn't a pawn shop. You can't just drop goods. I was surprised Rue had $3,000 to bring her after her shenanigans on the way there. Like, that's a pretty good haul. And, you know, she acted all cool and sisterly and maternal and all like, hey, girlfriend, you could have just rang me and been like, I don't have a dozen eggs. I only have 8. Haha. But, girl, she only had 3 eggs. She had 3 eggs, maybe.
Yes.
Like, what is that?
Still
what
short.
Is that 8? But that was some, you know, girlfriend chatter. That was like, don't worry. We're just friends here. And she really, everything she said had a negative side to it. Right. Mm-hmm. And there was something else, there was a couple of really crazy things. We got another TV moment, right? Last episode, we had the Faye and Fez invasion of the body snatchers. And I wasn't able to confirm this. I was trying to research it right up until the bell, right up until Arah was like, we got to go live. But something that I said earlier of Rue being kind of like Scrooge this episode, right? Like, so Rue was kind of Scrooge. This was the Christmas story. She was going from ghost to ghost, trying to reconcile her pasts. The answer to Fezco's scene from season 1, this was the answer. Now he really kicked her out. It's over. Just all these ghosts of Christmas past, Rue mispass. And she finally comes to a horrible place. And on the TV, I think it might be an old version of the Christmas Carol. I couldn't quite nail what year it is. And I couldn't quite figure it out, but it could be. But he says he's taken the pills. He'll be all right. And that's when she's shooting her up, respectably. And so, yeah, which is bad. And totally a way to get someone very, very addicted, very, very fast to drug use.
Especially doing the shooting, like into the veins, like that's
how
whole another level of like that's when you're really into it. Like, you're really deep in the thick of it now. And
that's how it consumes you.
Yeah, because you're the bloodstream, and it's like really, oh gosh, Rue's down a very, very fast right now, and it's very tragic to watch, because we saw how, like, even with Mouse gave her that little taste of fentanyl last season, and what that did to her this season. So her with the starting to get tracks. That's gonna be so hard to watch going forward. But I want to oh, sorry, what were you gonna say, Leon?
I was gonna say something in regards to the mouse with the fentanyl, right? Like that was, it's kind of been building up since there, right? Like that showed us the threat from the beginning towards Rue's body when it comes to, you know, her drug usage, right? Her drug abuse and where it could lead. And then here we're seeing more of those potential consequences. And in regards to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, turns out Laurie is a literal, perhaps, body snatcher.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I was gonna say body snatching when they're at the table and she's giving this whole spiel about how addiction and how it affects the mind and how it makes like things that like what's it, the artificial happiness and how things that used to make you happy don't make you as happy anymore, but things that make you sad also don't make you that sad. Like lose some of your like emotional intelligence, if you will, like your EQ gets a little. But she also mentions a point where she's like, "Oh, I didn't know how bad addiction was until I ran out, and I was going through withdrawals, and I do anything. And good thing you're a woman because even if you don't have money, anything else people want." And oh, she's about to pimp our girl out. She's gonna try to pimp Rue out. It's happening. Rue's.
She got out, at least. I did not expect her to get out. I did not expect her to get out whatsoever.
I did not at all.
I was hoping, right, that she would. And she did.
Yeah.
And I thought, I mean, that was so scary, right? Like, and I guess there's a possibility that she's probably making more from that, right? That's why you were saying, you know, she's been ensnaring. She's had her eye on Rue since the beginning. She probably makes way more from trafficking than she does from drugs. And like, you know, people have been discussing this episode. Is this Rue's rock bottom? Is it not? I don't know if this is Rue's rock bottom or not. And something that Ali said during the special is that, you know, he shared his rock bottom moment. And he said also, like, maybe Rue will, but some people never reach rock bottom. And I think Laurie is an example of a person who has never reached rock bottom, who is bottomless. There is no rock bottom. When you're out here selling people, drugging people in order to continue to exploit them, like, there's no bottom for you, I think, for Laurie.
Rue's like our Frank Gallagher. Like, there's just no rock bottom, just fun and addiction and scamming people, and you're not gonna find a way to make it happen. That's what Rue gives me. But yeah, I don't think this is her rock bottom at all. I feel like she could, fortunately, as bad as it sounds, a lot worse for Rue. A lot worse. And I think they are going to get worse before they start getting better.
Well, and that's something to look at too, is like Laurie hasn't hit rock bottom, and Laurie lives in a house. And as we saw this episode, as Rue was trying to escape, like Laurie's her junkies, as in the junkies that she controls, as in the people that she keeps addicted to drugs and probably living off the suitcases of drugs that she has to do her bidding, they all live in this house, like commanding her will, right? And making sure her will is carried out through the house, including the fucking locked door room next to Rue's that had scratching going on at it. That means that there are people in it. We are going to gloss over that because that's awful, but like, they weren't expecting Rue to wake up, I think, is the biggest thing like that. And she got out, but she should have survived any of that. She should have broken her ankle. Glossing over that too. Yeah. I'm like, you should have sprained that shit at least. That was definitely
a high. That was definitely a high ankle sprain. As somebody who high ankle sprain is still recovering from said high ankle sprain.
See,
it might be sprained and she's just high.
That's true too.
And then adrenaline, like combo, is what's like getting her to like get through. But that scene actually, she before like when Laurie has her in the tub, this is how you could tell Zendaya producer, we did not get a single ounce of nudity from Zendaya.
Zendaya sitting there counting her dollars.
If that was Cassie, we would have saw titties at the least.
Zendaya
Maybe.
counting her dollars. Cassie, Sydney Sweeney. Oh no, it's so sad how naked I was. They're both,
I'm not complaining any at all. At all. Don't
That is
think that was a
interesting.
complaint for me. I appreciate that. But I just thought that was interesting. But
that is interesting.
What's cool is as she's like kind of like getting her undressed and getting her into the tub, they're kind of blurred,
Yeah.
and the focus is on the squirrel. It looks like the squirrel's holding the morphine, like an acorn or something like that, and then you see like the needle right there, and it just kind of reminds me of like chasing like a high type of thing, because this is right before she obviously injects it and stuff. And it's
nutty squirrels.
Like, yeah, the squirrel was just such a jarring element.
Yeah, because I just think of like squirrels as being like addict, as well as like super random story that no one's probably experienced. Maybe you have. I remember one day I was college, got home from class. Decided to smoke a little bit before going in the house, so I'm just smoking in the car by myself, and I see a squirrel on the fence holding a cookie, like a full ass cookie, like a full grown size cookie. And he was trying to get from the fence onto my neighbor's roof to a tree. And I was entertained watching the whole thing. And that's all I could think about this entire time when I saw that shot, was that squirrel and that cookie. And he dropped it. Spoiler, he dropped the cookie. I felt so bad. I wanted to pick it up for him and help him out. But he like just quit and kept the pushing. But
do not drop the cookies, Zendaya.
I'm so sad for the squirrel.
Yeah, I was so sad. Mind you, I'm like high watching this. I was like, girl, you can do it.
You go, squirrel. Yes, squirrel friend. Yes.
Yeah.
My squirrel friend from
maybe the squirrel came back for it later. That's what I want to believe.
He did. I hope he did. In my spinoff,
in my head canon.
And the squirrel got the cookie. But anyways, so we get the flashback. Yeah, we kind of talked on this a little earlier, but we do the. I don't really want to talk about that scene. It makes me sad. I couldn't really look at it. I mean, first of all, she clears in a phlebotomist, but yeah, just the way she just slips when she just says that thank you. When like Rue's just like thank you, and she just like drifts off, and then you get like lab does it again, coming through, and then it like kind of intercuts with her as a baby, and then like obviously her envisioning near her dad again. And oh gosh, I'm not gonna lie, I cried a little bit watching that.
Yeah, same. And especially during like the speech that she gives, it was really sad. And like, I thought it was, I mean, she's in the tub, right? So that's like this really watery element. And I thought it was interesting because earlier in the car, right, when she's telling Gia and her mom about sort of this really dark fantasy that she has of what's happening to her in her life, she says she imagines herself on the sand, right, and the waves just taking her away. In the Rue special, she says to Ollie that one of the forces that she believes is more powerful than her is the ocean. And I in the letter that she reads aloud in that memory to her father, she comes back to this memory of them at the ocean. So I'm suddenly like seeing and tying these together, that like Rue in this bathtub wishing to be taken by the surf, that oblivion is, I think, really just tied to this really singular positive memory that she holds of her father. That's why she keeps coming back to that water.
That makes sense, because it's her dad giving her laugh that we see. That memory you brought up about bringing her to the beach. And then it's her dad of baby Gia. But Chloe already dropped some gems on us.
Well, and that's why Jules and her are so in love, right? Because in Jules is special, Jules explains her femininity and why she connects so much with the feminine soul, and just like how she wants to be and how much she loves that. She says she wants to be as beautiful as the ocean.
Oh.
I never put that together, but canon is what I'm saying. But it's just like you could see how these plots and these like souls are so connected right through their suffering. And there's that moment you see Lexi just in the background during the funeral, right? So like it makes the earlier scene of Lexi watching this all unravel that much sadder, that like this is the friend she's tried to be there for. But like, you know, it's easy to hate on Lexi for that, but like no one's prepared, especially at that young age, to be a support system for an addict. And it's seeing that and seeing like, you know, the hope in Rue's face in that scene, even, and kind of the peace, right? Seeing Rue at peace. I hope for that for her. I you know, we've talked about it before, Arah. Me, you, and Gray have talked about some of the great, you know, drug addicted or drug selling characters that we love and love to hate in the past. And like, part of me really wants an ending for Rue that isn't horrible. Part of me really wants that. I don't want her to become one of the greats. That's never. I don't need Martyr Rue, but
I want better for Rue. I just, from what I've heard from like the show that the series was inspired by,
it's a no.
That's out. It's a big solid. Yeah, Rue's out of here.
I mean, I hope for better for her because I don't think I see that often, right? I think we often see like it ends in overdose or something, right? Like an SLC punk or something, or yeah, I think we see less of the difficult struggle that recovery takes, and you know what the toll that it takes on people who are working together with addicts. Like if people are willing to do that, and I don't fault people for not wanting to do that. Like it's not easy, it's difficult, and people get to make those choices for themselves. But I think it would be a more powerful story if they continued.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't have faith in Rue like that.
I mean, Rue doesn't have faith in Rue like that.
Yeah,
Rue
said
she was
T- 1 month. She was like, I'm T- 1 month, motherfuckers. Like, if you don't take me to the hospital today, it's over in like 30 days. 30 days.
She's gonna make me see Alexi's play. After Lexi's play, I'm done.
That's how I feel. I can finally die after Lexi's play. God. Shit.
Podcast over. Yeah.
Woo, we're free.
Can we get like forever? I want a Lexi cut. I want like full play. Like
yes.
If you give me a 2-hour episode, I want it.
I wish.
I know we're not gonna get the full play, but I want a full play.
We could get a full play. I mean, it could happen. They could experiment with that. Yeah.
I think it could be 2-part though. We could get dress rehearsal and actual.
Oh, because Lexi did say in the scene with Rue when she's like, "Oh, don't get me sick. I have rehearsals."
Dress rehearsals come out, baby. 7 could be the penultimate. 8 could be the ultimate.
I would like that. I would actually really like that. Let's kind of wrap up with Rue here. Rue escapes. Kind of talked about that. And the last shot, we kind of see her running back home. Leslie's kind of sitting up. We hear the door open, and we hear Rue, and then cut to black. I'm assuming this is Rue coming home. I think that's yeah. I don't think there's a big mysterious twist, and it's not Rue, and it's Ali or Jules. I don't know. It's Rue. It's Rue.
Oh my God.
It's Rue. So with that being said, predictions for next week, because Maddie's going to do something with that tape. We're in the shot. She's holding the tape. She knows about Cassie and Nate. She has big plans. I think I seen a gun in a tape on some car.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I need to rewatch the trailer, but also I was like, I'm only gonna watch it once because I want to leave a little surprise for myself.
Oh, I like that.
That's nice. I have no control. I just.
I'm an animal. I'm an absolute animal. I don't.
I know you love spoilers, Chloe.
I'm a slut for spoilers, you guys. I just can't help who I am as a person, and I'm never gonna. But that said, I heard Sydney Sweeney. Didn't Sydney Sweeney say Cassie breaks her toe, or she broke her toe filming?
Yes,
fascinating.
And Alexa did it.
Yeah, Alexa broke her toe, she said.
So
I hope we really pick right back up. I'm really hoping we pick right back up in the Howard household of like getting up the stairs, like immediate pickup. Like I want the immediate
the drama. Kat and Ethan might break up.
I think they are gonna break up. If they break up,
it's been 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Or 6 episodes, whatever. You guys know what
time a bit, but I'm like, if they break up the week or like around of the play, I'm gonna have major PTSD.
Arah says no. Arah has had this happen, and Arah says no. Thank you.
What happened to you? Tell me
Arah,
what happened.
Tell us what was the play.
You don't have to tell us.
What was the play? You have to tell us, Eliana. Don't tell her. You have to tell us. You have to. This is so important. What was the play?
This is therapy now.
It was all right. I hope nobody that was like in drama club with me watches this, but actually you should watch it because you support my channel anyways. But it was Scapino.
Yeah.
Same play. But yeah, it was our January show. It was
not Oklahoma.
It was not Oklahoma. Backstage, your girl was going through it. But
what was your breakup song? What was your breakup song?
There was no breakup song, but there was a sidekick involved, and it almost got destroyed. I'm really dating here, like a phone sidekick.
A T-Mobile, baby.
T-Mobile sidekick. Yeah, we're really throwing it back here, guys.
I thought you meant the psych, like the the thing with the lighting and that. And I was like, you almost broke the psych.
Oh God, no! Oh no, they would have killed me.
Oh yeah, no, they would have.
No, I was in wardrobe, so they would have killed me. Like, what are you doing back here? Go get dressed, bitch. Like, why are you touching our equipment? But yeah, no, just cat, just for me.
Lexco next week. We're gonna get Lexco fed. Hopefully. We're gonna get a Lexco scene. Right? Because they got to take the Band-Aid off when they ruin Lexco in episode 8, when it's over, when it's destroyed, because we don't get nice things because it's Euphoria. This isn't Parks and Rec. Okay, this is Euphoria.
I wish. But they're gonna give us our scene. I feel like we've been long overdue. I feel like Lexi and Fez are gonna talk about experiences with Rue from the night before.
Oh yeah.
Then I just hope if we do get a love scene, I hope it's between the two of them.
I hope so.
I don't need nudity. Don't need to see it. You can just allude to it.
Sweetness, just some sweetness, some real, just like a drizzle of honey on the show. We could use a drizzle of honey, just a little
every now and then. Well, then treat us nicely.
Come on, Sam.
It might not be like a full thing, right? Because then how else will you have a love triangle drama in the Lexi episode if Ethan's single?
Oh, that is what's gonna happen. There's gonna be It's true.
I watched a lot of romantic comedies and dramas.
Well, and I was
we've been pitching Ethan Lexi as endgame. They're gonna
interesting.
It's the fix to Fez. It's a no offense, Fez, but you are a drug dealer. Right. And I mean, that's not it. Fiscally speaking, it's great. You're middle bracket, but like reliably speaking, could go down any fucking moment. So like,
yeah,
Ethan is a good boy. He's a good boy. And he could be nice to Lexi. He could care about what she's doing. They could be artsy.
Yeah, they can they're gonna do like I mentioned, like the parents. She's gonna be the director and he's gonna be the star.
Oh my god.
The muse.
By Lexi, I mean Maud Apatow's parents, but
yeah, I knew what you meant. I knew exactly, unfortunately, what you meant.
Yes, okay. But yeah, that's gonna be her and Ethan. After Fez goes to jail and Kat breaks his heart. Oh my gosh. And then Kat and Maddie can bond about how much they hate the half sisters for sleeping with their exes.
Oh,
that.
interesting. Fascinating.
That'd be good. Poor
Oh my god,
man.
they're gonna be like shit. They're just like their mom, Sue's who cheated on their dad.
It's true. That's true. They don't know what love is.
They're gonna have
I could tell them.
No.
I could raise them. I have an extra
I don't know
bedroom.
I do not. I don't know if I would. I'm not taking on that burden.
Philadelphia schools are
Flexi.
just okay, you know?
I'll take
I'm not responsible for those kids.
That's not fair. I don't, well, but I would take Cassie. I could make her better. I could fix her,
I would
you
hope
know?
so. I would hope so. I could fix her.
Couple bong rips, that kid will be on her way. Maybe I don't know how to parent. Let's just take that back. Arah, what else? What do you think will happen next week? You got the tape, right? What's going to happen there?
I think Maddie's going to really want to expose Nate. I think Nate is going to do some evil, manipulative crap to weasel his way out of it somehow, some way. He always does, that slippery Nate Jacobs boy. But I do think, because I don't think that's Maddie's gun. I think that's Nate with the gun and the tape.
Yeah, I think so.
And, or plot twist, super plot twist. What if it's Cal?
It's not.
Like Nate's no, Nate would be mad at his dad. He would not.
Cal's done for. He won't be back till next season, maybe, for a fucking cameo.
Unless he kills Cal. Unless he kills Cal and frames as a suicide because he found out about. Ooh.
You are too deep in your preposterous as fuck right now, Arah. I am coming to dig you out. I am digging you out. Wild. I'm coming. Here I come.
That was wild. That was a wild speculation. I absolutely do not think that's happening at all. That was a joke.
What is this, TikTok? Are we TikTok now?
I guess.
I'm just kidding.
I don't remember the gun. Yeah, I don't know whose gun it is, but I will say that, like, you know, something that I've been wondering in regards to like how the Rue and Jules stuff will play out in regards to this, the tape and the Cal and Nate stuff, is in season 1, episode 5, Jules makes a promise to Rue to never share that Rue slept with Nate's dad, no matter what happens, no matter even if Rue one day hates her. And Rue keeps being like, why would I ever hate you? I won't hate you. I'm never going to hate you. And right now, Rue kind of maybe thinks that she hates Jules. But I will say, you know, I don't know if Rue would ever give it up, would ever share it or not, right? Like, because I don't know if it's true that Rue hates Jules or not, because I mean, we saw Rue give up Cassie's secret. Sorry. But Rue didn't give up Jules' secret, did not bring that up just then when she was yelling at Jules. So I don't know if she would actually, you know, use it against Jules or not, but it is a possibility.
I didn't think of this. That tape hurts Jules and it hurts Nate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which could be why Maddie's kind of might not actually put it out there.
I think he's gonna take it by force.
I wouldn't be surprised. We've seen he gets physical, so
yeah. If he's, I agree with you that gun is his gun, his little revolver. I'm thinking that I think he might even give it back. But I don't know. Maybe he just wants to move on from it all. I don't know. Maybe not. I need to start expecting the worst of people, as we talked about. I'm not going to say the words again in a row, but the words that I said were words that were very indicative of why I'm like, maybe I need to think worse of these people and just go for the negative plots. So maybe all hell will break loose, but I feel like it might be put to sleep because I think it's like a big hanging plot thread. Like, yeah. Big. Like, it's too big to ignore. There are some threads we can ignore, right? Like, I get it. Ignore this, ignore that. But I think this one has to come back.
The tape needs to be resolved. It's way too big. But Queens, I did bring that up in a previous stream that Rue could blackmail Cal for the rest of the money for that tape as a way to solve her money problems. I definitely think it's possible. But it is getting a bit late. We've been at this for quite a while. I want to thank you both again for coming on and joining me. I'm really here every week. But Eliana, thank you for joining.
Thank you for letting me crash. Thank you for letting me again bust down your door.
I mean, it's wide open, guys. This wasn't Laurie's house. We didn't have a lock on the door. Eliana was well.
I'm gonna escape out this window.
Oh my god, this is honestly how she always leaves.
Out the window.
Finish.
Yeah.
Finish.
Arah, thank you so much for having us on to talk about Euphoria. It is a favorite for sure. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, I love having you guys on. And if you guys haven't checked out their podcast, Cass Eliawi, it's in the little banner down below. But Girls Gone Canon on all the podcast platforms. You can also check out the other podcast I host with MJ, which is Preposterous AF. We just dropped a new episode out today. And yeah, our Valentine's Day special is coming up, and I have a really, really beautiful story for you guys, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. But yeah, that's all I got. Oh, and check out 1K subscriber special videos. Sorry, I'm doing all the shameless plugging right now because that's what we do at the end of videos, right?
Yeah,
it is.
And next week we'll be back for Euphoria on Valentine's Day together.
Yes,
it will be Valentine's Day.
It will be Valentine's Day, so hopefully we have something nice to talk and nothing
It's
sad.
gonna be crazy. You're gonna be my Valentine? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Are you gonna be mine?
Yeah, just don't sleep with my boyfriend, bitch.
Oh my god, what is happening?
Maddie's
Run out the window.
Episode 6.
I'm running out the door, sneaking down the staircase.
Cassie
Jumping out
fucking
the window.
wishes. Thank
I
you
don't
so
worry. Where's she
much.
gonna go in her room? But all right, it's been great. Thank you guys for joining us again. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
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 You want to do that thing?